Your group surveys the land beyond the river that the aristocrat spoke of. He claimed that none who go there ever return, yet you've little choice but to brave what lies beyond. A great river of tinder water stretches out before you. While the liquid no longer burns, it would still be dangerous to attempt swimming. You start to hesitate, thinking that there is no crossing, when Polka shouts, "Da-na-na-na!" He is carrying an iron board, apparently having brought it back from the Lake of Fire. Just as before, you and your allies decide to build a bridge across the river. Your group crosses the river, and as you celebrate, you take notice of the tough, rock-studded expanse of land stretching before you. Your sand skiff was made for moving over the sands, so it'll be difficult to go any farther aboard it. You propose remodeling the sand skiff, and Polka is first to agree. Legol's face is uneasy as he mutters, "Don't do anything weird to it." Polka explains that 3 materials will be needed to convert the sand skiff. After some quick preparations, you decide to split up to locate what you need. Sometimes a different perspective can be illuminating. Polka asks you to locate a long, sturdy pole. Trollis dashes off to the south, so you decide to head north so that you all can cover more ground. Perhaps because you're by yourself for the first time in a long while, the solitary search makes you feel a bit lonesome. Your thoughts drift inexorably to your comrades. Your thoughts turn to Legol. Legol can be somewhat brusque, but deep down he's a supportive person. He seems to care for Polka and Trollis too. From time to time, though, you spot a lonely, sad look on his face, perhaps due to his difficult past being treated like human livestock. Your thoughts turn to Polka. Polka's breadth of knowledge has been an incredible boon, and also a headache, since said knowledge is the source of his unceasing chatter. While he's typically an affable fellow, you do sometimes spot an unexpected iciness in his expression. Perhaps it comes from his hatred of monsters. Your thoughts turn to Trollis. Her awkward way of speaking somehow only accentuates her sweetness. On top of that, and back when you faced the flame primal, she pushed herself so hard to save you from certain death. You can't help but be a little concerned about her. Your crew of friends has grown little by little, but with them at your side, you no longer feel as lonely as you once did. While you were lost in thought, a monster has found you. You decide to summon up all your courage and fight. The monster brandishes a weapon whose handle is a long, sturdy-looking pole, the exact kind Polka needs. Your battle with the monster has landed you a long, sturdy pole that Polka should be happy with. Having done what you set out to do, you decide to head back to the sand skiff. Polka asks Legol to find something that could be used as wheels. Legol is skeptical that something like that will just be lying around, but he sets off to look nonetheless. Legol recalls that there was a cart in the mine near Steelborough. Though hesitant to return to such a dangerous place, he can't make excuses when he thinks of how hard a certain sub-Terran must be searching. He decides to take the sand skiff alone back to the mine. There is indeed a cart in the mine, as Legol recalled, and, as one would imagine, it has wheels. Legol attempts to remove the wheels from the minecart. But suddenly, a monster emerges from behind it. I expected nothing less. With the monster defeated, Legol collects the minecart wheels. The slain monster's eyes are wide open. Legol gently closes the monster's eyes, Having done what he set out to do, Legol decides to head back to the sand skiff. Polka asks Trollis to find some durable cord. Despite feeling a little sluggish, Trollis takes off to the south, eager to help the group. Polka says, "You take care of gathering everything we need. I'll stay here and draw up the plans." Trollis wanders the area, searching for some durable cord or rope, but turns up nothing. Trollis looks around, trying to find a plant that she could braid into rope. The region is so arid, though, that it proves a futile effort. Trollis rummages through her possessions, looking for some durable cord. Inside, she finds a whip from her apprenticeship. She must have brought it along by mistake. It once belonged to the ringmaster of the circus. Looking over the whip brings back memories. Trollis spends some time reminiscing as she gazes at the whip, but then realizes, "Not cord," she says, tossing it away. Realizing that a whip could work in place of a cord, Trollis decides to return to the sand skiff. With what Polka requested in hand, you beat feet to meet back up with the others. The group meets back up, having gathered all three of the things needed to modify the sand skiff. You've brought the sturdy pole, Legol has the wheels, and Trollis has the whip. "Are you sure I can use your whip?" Polka asks, and Trollis gives a little nod. Trollis turns her bag upside down, and, as advertised, a number of whips tumble to the ground. "Doesn't your ringmaster need these?" Legol gets a distant look on his face. A bit of pep in his step, Polka starts zipping around the sand skiff, making modifications. The modifications to the sand skiff are finished. The vehicle should be able to pass through the rocky wasteland without issue now. The group is thrilled, but suddenly, Trollis collapses. Polka hurries over to examine her. Somehow, she's suffering the effects of tinderwater poison. You hold Trollis close, but can do little else. This does turn your thoughts back to the events at the Lake of Fire. The battle with the flame primal flashes through your mind. During the struggle, Trollis threw herself in harm's way to protect you from the primal's attack. The poison must have entered her body through the wound she sustained in the process. Despite downing some of Polka's medicine, Trollis remains languid. It seems that the effect isn't very strong. She needs a sanitary place to rest, Polka says, and the group decides to try to find one. A man, breathless and plump, suddenly jumps out in front of your group as you search for a place where Trollis can rest. Recognition dawns in you, and you're sure this is the ringmaster of the circus. At least, until he flatly denies it, saying you've confused him with someone else. Trollis rises unsteadily from the deck of the sand skiff, tilts her head to the side, and says, "You not ringmaster?" The man looks at Trollis for a moment, then breaks into a delighted smile. "Oh ho! You're one of my brothers from the circus." As he explains it, this man is the younger brother of the circus ringmaster. He works as a merchant who travels the world buying and selling all manner of rare articles. And to that end, he wastes not a moment in trying to strike up some business. Perhaps a gander at my wares, then. You briefly explain Trollis's condition and ask the man if he knows of a good place to rest. "Why didn't you say so sooner? I've got some good info on that front," he replies with a wink. The merchant shares that he has heard of a village to the west, wherein resides a brilliant apothecary. He's said to be a rather crabby fellow, but with any luck, you can get some medicine from him. And on top of that, find a place to rest. 2 birds with 1 stone. You say a few words of thanks and quickly head off to the west in search of the village. The man calls after you. "I'll be here with my compatriots for a while, so do pop by later." You locate a small village. This is probably the place the merchant mentioned, where the apothecary lives. However, monsters suddenly appear, and they're headed straight for the town. You can't let them attack the town, for Trollus's sake too. You take off running to stop the monsters. Get him! Unbeknownst to any, you manage to avert the danger. Now Trollus needs help. Hurry into the village. You and Legol enter the village, leaving Polka caring for Trollis on the sand skiff. No sooner do you enter the village than a man's voice calls out to you. This here's the Village of Light. Make yourself at home and rest your wearied spirits. The villager wears a curious headpiece, but seems polite and courteous. You get directly to the point and ask him if he knows about the apothecary. Ah, that would be me, he says, before offering to mix up some medicine if you're in a hurry. You explain Trollis's symptoms, and the man calling himself an apothecary smiles and says he can help right away. Afraid of the answer, you ask what it will cost. The man calling himself the apothecary laughs and assures you he has no need of payment. The apothecary hardly seems crabby at all, so you check again with him that he really is the one you're looking for. He answers that coming to this village changed him, made him realize that people need to live by helping each other. The apothecary suggests you take a wander about town while he mixes up the medicine. He adds, "The folks about town are kind souls one and all, so feel free to ask them if you need anything." Legol says that he'll get Trollis and returns to the sand skiff. You decide to walk around the village and find what you'll need to care for your friend. The boy looks at you and says, "This would look nice on you, miss," and hands you a crown made of gorgeous artificial flowers. You try to pay for it, but the boy counters with a smile. "I gave it to you because I wanted to." That was nice. After hearing your tale, the woman hands you her food. Make sure you all eat up and get all your nutrients. And if there isn't enough, you just let me know and I'll make more. Ha ha, she finishes with a hearty laugh. After hearing your tale, the proprietor of the inn beams at you and says, "Don't worry your head over payment. Stop in and make use of one of our rooms as much as you like." You offer a word of thanks and feel a weight lift off your chest. Now Trollis will be able to rest somewhere comfortable. A giant statue towers above you, kindly eyes seeming to cast a protective gaze across the village. The old man says, "No person is an island. That's why we need to join hands and help one another." The apothecary comes running your way. The medicine is finished. You take it from him and then try to head back to Trollis, but there seems to be quite some commotion at the entrance of town. Wondering what could have happened, you hurry over. A crowd of villagers has thronged the entrance to town. On the opposite side are Legol, Trollis, and Polka. Their earlier kindness seemingly an implausible memory, the group shouts, "Get out, now." You realize that the villagers are staring daggers at Trollis. They seem somehow furious at her. Even the apothecary, who only just handed you medicine for her, has an expression of utter rage on his face. You attempt to intervene and put a stop to the trouble, but the villagers continue to bellow their anger. Suddenly, you hear a serene voice call out over the crowd. At the sound of it, the people fall incredibly quiet. A mysterious girl, young in years, emerges from within the awkwardly silent crowd. "I beg your forgiveness for the way you have been treated by the villagers," she says. "If you require a place for your sick friend to rest, please come to the Shrine of Light," she finishes, before leading the way. As soon as you arrive at the shrine in which the girl lives, you put Trollis in a bed to rest. You're relieved that you've managed things for the time being. When you speak with the girl, she says, "I've been waiting for you all." You haven't told the girl anything, so how is it she knows that? "I know more than that." She goes on to describe much about your group: the monster attack on your village, Legol's cruel treatment, what happened to Polka's parents. "What's your deal?" Legol says, unnerved. The girl answers, "The power of prophecy." She explains that due to her power, the people revere her as a religious guru. You've never heard that word before, and so you ask, "Guru?" You ask if a guru is some kind of teacher, and Legol nods. "Yeah, I think you could say they're a sort of teacher." Polka adds, "A guru is the founder of an ideological group, or the leader of one. In any event, the guru is clearly important to the village. You decide to ask her about the place. You ask why the once kind villagers became so angry. The guru explains in a measured voice. This remote village has, she explains, been the victim of many monster attacks over the years, which in turn means that many of its inhabitants despise all monsters. That hatred eventually took root in the village as a kind of religious doctrine. Thus their behavior when they saw Trollis. You ask why the villagers were so kind at first. The guru explains in a measured voice. The village, she explains, adheres to a doctrine called the Light Faith. She goes on to explain that the foundational principle of the Light Faith is to be kind to people. Thus, the villagers treated you with great kindness. And so there have been two absolute doctrines in this village. Be kind to people and kill monsters. She gazes at the room where Trollus is sleeping and asks, "Your friend is a monster, yes?" You state in no uncertain terms that Trollus is not a monster. However, you cannot deny that you had a vague suspicion of her true identity. The guru amends her words. Forgive me. Perhaps that expression wasn't quite appropriate, since she is also human. She is half human and half monster. What are your thoughts on that? She asks. It's true that monster blood may flow in Trollus's veins. Monsters, things to be hated. But as you've traveled together, seeing you falter, the guru offers another apology. The villagers were discourteous to your friend, and for that, I am sorry. Many of them lost family to monster attacks and are seized with hatred. I ask you to forgive them, she continues, her voice tinged with hurt. Ah, right. Your group wishes to go to New Terra, yes? She says, breaking the silence. Stunning that your powers could even tell you that, says Pulka in a low voice, and the guru nods serenely. She explains that there is a stone tablet in the ruins of a religious edifice to the northeast of town. Said tablet has the way to New Terra recorded on it. However, you should know, monsters have nested in the ruins, she adds. There's information on New Terra to be had, though, so you decide to go anyway, despite the danger. Trollus is sleeping soundly. Quite relieved, you thank the woman watching over her. She seems annoyed, but when you inform her that you're headed to the ruins, she quickly turns her attitude around and bows her head. The ruins were evidently a sacred site for this village, one where marriages, funerals, prayers for bountiful harvests, and other important rites were carried out, and the tablet was used in those ceremonies. You accept the woman's request, explaining that you were planning from the start to retrieve the tablet. You've no sooner gotten your response out than Trollus's eyes fly open, and she bursts out, "I come too." While she is a little unsteady yet, the apothecary's medicine seems to have done its work. You try to convince her to rest a little longer, but she insists on going to the ruins with you. At length, her persistence wins out, and you begrudgingly agree to take her along and head for the ruins.